Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Open up. Open up. Open up. Open up.
Welcome to the Cannabis Community Project. This is Brainstorm. Once again, bring you your weekly podcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. Here exploring the business side of this newly emerging economy, focusing on the business, the patient, the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating that next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow cannapreneurs just like you while living the lifestyle. Dairy Berry's recording studio, located in Arvada, Colorado, is your local recording studio with affordable rates. Mark is well experienced and will make your show, music, or any audio you have sound great. Take a look at Dairy Berry's recording studio or call Mark at 303-456-8216. Here I am back live in the CCP studios, took last week off, had a lot going on, my computer broke down, Apple held it in the store for almost a week, replacing the logic board, whatever that is, don't know what it is, but whatever it was, it prevented me from, being able to get on the internet and upload shows and do everything else. This show is highly dependent on the internet. This is an internet-based radio show, the CCP radio show, every week bringing you all the things I love. I love to talk about cannabis and I love to talk about business. So I go out there and I try to find interesting people and businesses that can bring that to this medium. And then maybe you can learn a little something. Because I'm sure you're out there figuring out a way to get involved in the industry. You're out there figuring out a way how to make a living, how to leave your dead-end job, how to get out of the cubicle, break free from the shitty minimum wage jobs that most of us have had to work or are still working. You know, now is the time. Now, 2015, get in before the bubble gets too big, right? If this were 1992, 93, and I was telling you we should start a web-based internet business, you would think I was crazy. But over the next decade, the internet would define the world. Yes, it was a bust. It was only a temporary one. It was the bust that actually had to break the dam to flood the valley. And now we are living in the valley of the internet, filled to the rim where everything is web-based. And this is how we make our living here on CCP Radio, bringing you content like Scott Tafable with the HR update. This week, he's going to be talking about the Cannabis Cup. He went out to San Diego to the Cannabis Cup, and he brings us that report back. You know, we have our own Cannabis Cup coming up very shortly, just a month and a half. Who's going? Anybody going to be there? Come see me if you see a guy wandering around with a microphone under the influence, under the medication. Stop me and say hi. I want to hear from you. At our own Cannabis Cup. But we also talked to Soham J. Shah from CCX, giving us the update. It's been a while since we've checked in with them. They're a dynamic business, always changing, always changes happening in their industry. So I stepped in for a couple minutes into the offices, sat back, had a smoke, and we chatted about what's new in the CCX world. You know, getting to meet all these people and getting to do all these events is really a dream come true, with or without the income. I mean, I can't lie, at this point, there's really no income coming from this show or business, regardless of the fact that we have some sponsors. But there is some cost and expense, but it doesn't matter because being able to go out and meet new individuals, new businesses, get to learn about all that's happening in the industry firsthand, and having people wanting to come talk to me and talk on my show about what they're doing is really the blessing in itself. So doing it for free is really what just keeps me going through the shitty minimum wage jobs that I have to work to make ends meet. But despite all that, I'm sure there's many individuals just like you out there who maybe aren't into media or maybe aren't into business or vice versa, but you want to be involved in the industry. Well, I am reaching out and opening up this community show to the cannabis community. And I'm looking for some individuals. I'm looking for a person or two to come join me in my ventures. We're on a mission from God. Come to the pivotal point of your life of realizing you can do things that are better. They don't always have to be the most profitable. But I have faith this show is going to keep growing as it is. We're going to keep growing. We're going to make money for our sponsors. They're going to give us more money. We're going to grow the show. We're going to hire an actual staff. We're going to go out to every event. We're going to bring you news and events. We're going to go out there and become the base of the media and the voice for this community. Because it really is your show. It's your community show. I mean, if you are part of the community, self-proclaimed, you have a chance just like anybody else to come on this show and say your piece, tell your story, pitch your product. Doesn't matter. I am not business adverse. Matter of fact, I embrace it to show all of you that business is a part of life, and it's the part that pays the bills, but it's also the part that allows us to be free to venture down our own paths, free to go along and pursue things like trying to make a radio show about the cannabis industry, or whatever it is you do, whether you want to be an artist, whether you want to be a grower, whether you want to have a shop and sell products, whatever it is you want to do, and you wish you were doing it because you're not doing it now, you can do it. And you don't have to go to Harvard Business School. You don't need a PhD. You don't need to actually wear a suit and tie. What you need is just to understand some fundamentals. So how do we learn those fundamentals? Crack a book, go to class? Yeah, you could, I suppose, if that's your style. But sometimes people just need to listen to how somebody else did it, adapt it to their own, and be on their way. And that's why we bring you these interviews. This isn't just an interview show. This is a show to have people exchange their stories, their backgrounds, and even their tactics as they currently pursue their path in business, just like what you want to do. Whether it's Scott, whether it's Soham, whether it's Ashley, or whether it's so many more of you other individuals who have participated on this show and continue to contribute content and be part of it, whether it's the social media or on air, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be the host and produce your community show. So all you have to do is decide, do you want to do something that could be great? And do you want to do it with me? Because I'm looking for the right person, possibly persons, to pursue this philosophy and this mindset and help me grow this show, this business, into a profitable money-making machine for everybody, including the community that listens. This show is a show that requires a certain type of person. It requires somebody that understands what the big picture is. And initially, there's no pay for anybody, but we do have sponsors, and we have some great sponsors. And we have the potential with those sponsors to make a lot of money if we do them right. And the way we're all going to be part of this industry and community, if we understand the blend, the merging between business, community, individual, and even jobs, and what our obligation is in listening to the show and taking action. This all depends on all of us, and I will do my best to bring it to you. And with your help, we can make all of this, the Cannabis Community Project, we can make it nationwide, we can make it worldwide. You and me, Denver, you and me. Who's with me? Grind and burn.
My name is Keenan Wallace Dunham. I'm running for President of the United States for 2016 in the Libertarian Party.
Very cool, man. I've been looking over your pages. You're an interesting guy. You got a lot going on.
Thank you.
And you're running for president 2016 under the Libertarian Party or Independent Party?
Libertarian Party.
Libertarian. How old are you?
I'll be 35 July 16th, 2016.
To meet all the requirements?
I've checked with the Federal Election Commission and the South Carolina Election Commission, and as long as I'm 35 before November 8th, 2016, I can run. So they both said that it was fine.
Where did you grow up?
In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, pretty much all my life.
Okay.
Except when I was in college.
It's a very fertile ground for the type of politics I think you're wanting to pursue.
Oh, yes.
What is your main 5 points? You referenced it at the beginning. Why don't you go ahead and lay it out there? You said you had 5,
Sure.
I guess, key
Yes.
points that you're running on. What are they?
Yes, I think it's important to have not just issues or ideologies, but an actual plan. You know, all the business that goes on in the United States, and that's going to generate enough taxes and also fairly tax corporations on their profit at a place where they can't really hide it either. So I think we need to get rid of the personal income tax, take that burden off the American people and put it into a sales tax, simplifies taxes as well. And that I would enact the 9% tax on cannabis, recreational smoking, and various food products for hemp at the same time. So I want to I'm going to legalize cannabis and generate the revenue at the same time.
Very nice.
And then the 5th part of my plan is the most exciting one for me and my favorite one to work on, which is a projection of space colonization for the next 20 and 50 years. And I don't know if you saw my YouTube videos.
I've been briefly
but I have
looking
a lot
over
of
them.
plans for space colonization, where we need to put a base on the moon, a base on Mars, and the ideas and sciences that go into that are very profound. We need to be able to use the resources in space.
Let's just briefly touch on the money situation. What's your current status?
Sure.
How much do you need? Is there even a possibility of even raising enough money to really have a national presence? And what is the guerrilla style tactics that you're going to use? Because
Right.
I'm going to take the assumption for you that you're not going to be able to raise $1 billion, right?
I don't want $1 billion, and I don't accept corporate donations. So, yeah, we're going to have to go a different route. But the Libertarian Party is making waves, and we're probably going to be able to get into the presidential debates on national television this time because we can't be barred as a third party from them. So that's one thing. We need to work on getting into debates and getting on television. Obviously, I'm doing interviews. I'm starting earlier.
If when you come through Denver, we'll hook up, we'll do some interviews, and we'll just keep digging
Great.
in. We'll keep digging into all these issues. Sometimes we have to break it up. And believe it or not, we've already hit an hour, and I think that's a good start. I think that's a good start for people to get an idea of who you are, and then we'll follow up again.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Hey, you like the businesses you hear? Maybe you're a business. Maybe you have a thought or an idea that would be perfect for this community. Contact me. I'll get you on the air. I want to discuss these issues. Everything in the news, from health, legal, food, music, growing technology, business. We talk about it all here. Cannabis Community Project. Feeling guilty about a time with cannabis? Get it off your chest and confess it on Cannafessions, your public forum to absolve your soul.
New voice message, Wednesday, 4:21 p.m.
Hey, yeah, this is Mark. I went over to my grandma's house for a Christmas dinner, and I lost my bag. I looked all up for it, and I couldn't find it. And I left, and my aunt came over. She was standing in the room, and the next day, my grandma found a bag and blamed it on her. Thought she was smoking weed. She kept denying it. She's older. She kept denying it, and my grandma, she was convinced it was her, and she wanted to take her to the hospital so she could get fixed because she was a weed addict. And I never told them that it was my bag. So, sorry, Auntie. Sorry, Grandma. It's really mine. And, yeah. Okay, I feel better. Thanks. Bye.
To replay this message, press 1. To delete this message and go to the next, press 7.
And that was Cannafessions. If you have a confession to make, contact me via Facebook or the website at cannabiscommunityproject.com. Remember, I'm creating a sponsor store where right from the website, every business that you've heard about, every product that we've talked about, right from the website, as you're listening to my show, you're going to be able to view a page called Sponsor Store where you will see every product and service that we've brought through the community. You know, the Cannabis Commodity Exchange is a great product for other dispensaries, but how does the individual relate? How does the individual cannapreneur out there get involved in our sponsors, CCX? Well, I'll tell you, they have a product called the Skunk Box. The Skunk Box is for any herb connoisseur. Why? Because it's the premier herbal humidor. Skunk Box increases the quality of your favorite herbs and saves you money by making them last longer. Store your favorite herbs for weeks without them drying out and losing their flavor and potent scent. Restore dried out herbs in just a few days and bring back the odor, flavor, and texture you love. Keep your herbs and accessories safe in the water-resistant, dust-proof, and odorless container, whether you're home or on the go. It's customizable, and here in Colorado, it's a locking container that is for when you are leaving centers or dispensaries with your product. You now no longer have to pay those few bucks for those cheap Ziploc bags that they're making you buy. Check them out on the Cannabis Community Project sponsor store, the Skunk Box, presented by the Cannabis Commodities Exchange.
And now, this week's HR update with Scott Fable.
So I got to see some pictures and stuff on Facebook, and it looked like fun. And anytime it's a cannabis cup sponsored by somebody big, it's going to be exactly what you expect. It's going to be a lot of samples being given away. A lot of people.
It was the first one of the year. They got San Francisco, Washington, and then they got 420 in Denver.
I was there last year. And
I'll be there.
This year coming up.
Oh, yeah.
You're just going to buy a patron pass and
that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. I was there last year with a vendor booth, so I got to hang out for the weekend and be there all day on the other side of it, and it was very interesting. One of the first ones in Denver with recreational, and it was very interesting to kind of see a very relaxed, casual atmosphere of just people openly smoking inside and out, even though technically inside they weren't supposed to be doing it. But it was just open, casual, and it was great. I don't know if I'll be able to afford anything this year, but I'll definitely buy a patron pass.
Yeah, I think they're like $30 right now. So
very cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're back again with Scott Fable for another HR Minutes. Another week, as sometimes we tend to do. I get a little windy, a little wordy, and we run over time. So we had a couple topics last week we were going to talk about. We definitely talked about the most interesting one, the wage war, as we could say out there. But also, we have a Cannabis Cup firsthand experience that Mr. Fable here was able to dive into in Southern California, the first of the year Cannabis Cup. Yes?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Welcome back for another week. Welcome to the magnificent CCP studios. What do you think of the remodel? Looking good?
It's getting there.
Spacious?
A little echoey in here.
That is true. We're going to have to get some... maybe I should close the door.
Yeah. Who knows?
Oh, well. I guess for sound consistency, I got to leave it
That's
open
all right.
now. So tell me about it. How did you get out there? How did you pay for it? What was the intent for going out there? What do you take away?
Sure.
Did you literally take anything away? Did you come back with anything? Give us everything you can and try to keep it to 59 and a half seconds.
All right. I'll see what I can do. Well, most of you know that I moved out to Colorado from Southern California. So I got to go see my parents, which was cool. And then I got to go to the High Times Cannabis Cup in San Bernardino for 2 days, the 7th and 8th of February. I think I approached it a little bit different than most patrons at the event. I attended most of the seminars and was really going around talking to dispensary owners and growers and telling them about my company, Highest Reward, and also about the survey and hopefully getting them to participate. So reception was great. People had great things to say and acknowledged the fact that this sort of study needs to happen. There's concern with treating the employees in the cannabis industry correctly. And not everybody follows all the rules, etc. So really, it was all about marketing my company, connecting with potential customers and clients, and learning a little bit. I ran across several people who are entrepreneurs in the industry who were also there doing the exact same thing. So it was a great event. I saw some crazy things. Looking forward to the next one.
That's it? Is that the report? Is that the update?
Yeah, I mean, 59 seconds. I don't know if you want me to go into details, but we can talk for minutes if you want.
I just think it's always interesting. I think people all around the world want to kind of see what's going on in these big events. It's like Burning Man, right? Not everybody will get to go, but most people have heard of it and are quite curious
sure
to what it's like.
Let me describe it a little bit for you. I'd say it's essentially a big party. There are some really great companies with some great products there, showcasing them. It's a great networking opportunity, and cannabis industry, I guess you can call them celebrities or figureheads. Most of them go. So if you want to go there, you can definitely meet up with them, shake their hands, and thank them for all that they do.
Excellent. Did you have an ROI attached to that trip? Was it just an expense that you put out there just to get your face in the crowd?
How I justified it was, with these events, there isn't a concentration of so many potential clients in one space. So I don't think I should miss that opportunity. And they're all very like-minded people. The conversations that you're having when you're talking about your company or your product, you can really sense the passion with everybody in cannabis and with whatever it is that they do in the industry. So a lot of passionate people, and they can share in your passion, which is awesome. And then you kind of feed off that. So yeah, the environment and the energy is always, max level, and people go all out. If you're a patient or a customer, you can go there and sample the latest and greatest. All the big names out there, they all are representative, and they all come out and try to make an impact on the community.
Yeah. I think it's like any other industry. If you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, a couple times a year, you got to do some association mingling and rubbing shoulders at the networking meetings and go to the trade shows, and you got to do the continual education. You just got to be part of it. And I think if there's any event to be at, I think the Cannabis Cup is a pretty good event to claim your stake in cannabis.
I think it's important. Yeah, definitely. I think it's important though to choose the right avenue, whether that's a conference or whatever, because there are a lot of them out there that they really just want your money, to be honest. Do your homework, do your research. There's many groups out there that are cannabis related. Networking, Women Grow stands out to me, NCIA, but there's others that are popping up. And then online communities, definitely. There's a big presence online for this wonderful plant.
Very good. Well, as always, thank you for being out there in the industry and bringing the info directly back to us. Firsthand information on building a business.
My company is called Highest Reward. My name's Scott Afable. I'm the owner. www.highestreward.com. If you think that you could benefit from participating with your peers in setting a higher level for people practices and human resources within the cannabis industry, please, I invite you to come and take the survey.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks again.
We'll see you next time. We'll take 2 hits here and then we'll be good to go.
Go prepare for your death.
Better slip off my shoes.
Go to the grind and I'm gonna make the dollar.
Gonna give a little stretch. And a bend. Dip my toe to jacuzzi, baby.
Smells so green.
Ho, 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 who's this? How's it going?
And now me too.
That's the first thing I say to you.
Boing, 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 boing.
You are listening to Sal's Beats Worldwide.
Ha, ha, ha.
Woke up this morning, y'all ain't doing what I want. Had a couple phone calls, blew a couple blunts. Saw a couple haters online, had to stop. Post a couple pictures, just doing what I want. I don't need bad bitches, that's too much attention. I'm just trying to get some millions, doing what I want. Put a couple people in the feelings, never gave a fuck. You get a penny for them dots, trying to gain a buck with a plot. Doing what I want, I'm just doing what I want. I'm just doing what I want, doing what I want. I'm just doing what I want. Know a couple people that never show love. Now these suckers in the club, doing what they want. I'm just doing what I want, doing what I want. I'm just doing what I want. Know a couple people that never show love. Now these hookers in the club, doing what they want. Bottles, models, new lifestyle. West side, living wild. Your man mad, that ain't my problem. Sing the song with them when they see me. They say what's wrong with them. Reply, do what I want, say what I want. Say that I won't, I'ma walk the way I want. I'ma do what I want, I'ma dance the way I want. I'ma talk the way I want. Say that I want, I'ma do what I want. I'ma live the way I want. Say that I want, I'ma do what I want. That's just being me, me. That's just being me, me. That's just being me, me. That's just being me. Woke up mid-yana, still yawning. Had a couple brews with a half a blunt, just doing what I want. Pop a couple mollies if I want, cause I'm grown. Get an F word about what Nancy Gray gotta say. No sleep gang, never hit the hay. I'm a young man and I'm getting paid. They say one day it's gonna come to an end, but not today. Can I say one thing? I'm off the swing. She from the bottom of the sea, but she say my switch is sweet. I'm just doing me. I just do what I want. I'm just doing what I want. I just do what I want. I'm just doing what I want. What I want. The club ain't the same, so the club at the crib or the lab, we just get it how we live. Get your chick up off my lap, cause she ain't got it like that. I do what I want. Say what I want, say that I won't. I'ma walk the way I want, I'ma do what I want. I'ma dance the way I want, I'ma talk the way I want. Say that I want, I'ma do what I want. I'ma live the way I want. Say that I want.
Because it's been a few months since we've actually sat down and talked about the business. So I'm just curious to what the update is. Sitting here with Soham J. Shah. I don't know why I have to say your middle name for it to come out. It's like one of those tongue twisters. I have to say the whole thing or stumble across it. Sitting here down at the offices, 2944 Zunai Street.
Find us on Google if you want.
Google, leave a Google review. Yelp, right? Isn't Yelp owned by Google? Should have a Yelp location listed so people can rate you. What would they review for? The CCX, the Skunk Box, Green Consulting?
Depends on which business they're Googling, I guess.
So much going on under this roof. So people may remember you. You may remember me by my infomercial. But coming up on 5 shows now? You can find them all. Yeah. Well, we're back down here again to do a little check-in. People may be hearing you from week to week on your own segment, the Market Tracker Update. Maybe we'll just combine those names, like XM and Sirius. We'll just combine it. The Market Tracker Update, news releases and so forth. Today, we're just going to check in and see how business is coming along, what's new, what's changed. We've had a couple people leave the state and go to Washington.
Yep.
So what's new? What's new in the CCX game?
I guess the big news for us right now is that we just pushed out the second real version of our software, 2.0, as we're calling it intuitively. It features 2 big new features: auctions, which allow multiple parties to make bids on the same batch of goods and allow the seller to evaluate those bids and then decide whether or not to accept them. And then the other one would be virtual storefronts, which allow somebody who either produces the same set of strains or the same line of products on a regular basis, set up a storefront so that their current customers and potentially new customers as well can very efficiently order all of their extracted goods in one place. Nice. So we're really working on getting both some of our current clients who definitely have a need for a virtual storefront, helping them learn how to use the new version, as well as doing active outreach and finding new members as well.
Any more major events that you've attended, been to? What is the overall reach and growth of the market? Are you beyond Colorado now? Are you starting to get into multiple states?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, we have a full office set up in Seattle like we have here. Josh, Moz, and our lead developer are all based up there.
How are they adjusting? I'm quite curious to. Now, are they from that area, or is this a new experience for them?
It's a new experience for them. Moz and Josh both went actually the month before I was up there, they spent a month just driving around the state, getting to know people, doing really, really old school, brand building. And so when I went up there, they had built some good momentum. I had definitely something to build off of, and I tried to keep up the steam. We came back here, and then they went up there. They moved up there, got a house and all that.
Does Josh have a full beard and Maz have a shaved face now? And
well, I got to see Josh a couple weeks ago. Me and him
settling into Seattle life.
I don't know how thick the beards are, but I think they definitely like it up there. I got to see Josh. We went to the ArcView Investor Forum in San Francisco the end of January, where we had the opportunity to pitch to a room full of uncredited investors.
Now, this is the big ArcView that I'm sure everybody's aware of. The emails come to most everybody every month or so. This is where you go and make a Shark Tank-like pitch in front of investors. You show your product or concept.
Yep.
And you offer a percentage in money. And
yeah, it's not exactly like Shark Tank, but yeah, essentially you're pitching your company. You're asking for some type of money.
What's the setup? Is it a auditorium style?
So it's a large auditorium. There was a couple 100, 300, 400 investors in the room, along with about 12 pitching companies and then a bunch of other sponsored companies that were also presenting. And it was 2 days. We pitched on the second day, which was reserved for new companies that were pitching for funding. We felt really good about it. We got a lot of good feedback. And then kind of the format from there is they don't kind of have the open questioning like they do on the TV show. I'm sure there are other cannabis related investment forums.
Present and then you're done. And
it's because there's so many investors in the room. It's if you're interested enough to follow up and ask a question, then that's kind of, I guess, the format of it. And I guess a lot of it is on our shoulders, too, to make sure that the people that we've been talking to before we presented, that our message is consistent. Hopefully they liked our presentation. Like I said, we were very happy with it. We felt really good about it.
So you set up a full presentation. How long was it?
It was, I think, 7 minutes. We timed
this was the allotted for everybody. Everybody had 7 minutes, which is actually a pretty long time.
It is if you know what you're going to talk about. But if you have a lot to get through, you have to make every slide count and every sentence count. And we rehearsed it pretty well. We had about a minute to spare as I was wrapping up because Josh did the first half. I did the second half. So I wrapped up with kind of our offer and then I guess said that we look forward to, and I had a minute to kill at the end of it. So I kind of winged it there at the end and I wrapped up as the timer was going 3, 2, 1. It felt really good, just like
right on time.
Didn't waste a second.
Like a skilled performer. That's actually a little ironic. I actually thought the opposite, that if you were unprepared, it would feel like a really long time because when you're on the spotlight, every second is like an hour in the sense of if you are prepared, you have a concise, simple,
so it depends. If you're unprepared to talk about a topic that you don't know about, then a second feels like an hour. But if you're unprepared to talk about a topic that you are actually knowledgeable about, that's when you get caught with rambling and you just start going off of whatever detail you can remember that may or may not be relevant. And so if you're knowledgeable about the topic, you really have to know the right flow of what you're saying, making sure that each point is logically flowing to the next and that it has served some purpose and that what you hopefully kind of insinuated or maybe explicitly said at the beginning aligns with the flow of the presentation and what message is ultimately delivered at the end.
Yeah, full production. I mean, it could take weeks to put together a solid, if you think of like a performer, a musician or a comedian or somebody else that has to put together an act, it takes a long time to put together a polished version. I mean, when a song comes out polished, there's hundreds, if not thousands of hours behind it. It may have taken 5 minutes to write the lyrics of a song, but it takes hundreds and thousands of hours.
Well, it takes a lot of it. Goes through multiple versions of drafts, the original presentation that we had when we first pitched, I think at the Cannabis Capital Summit last year, that's when Nick presented, is vastly different from what we finally
presented. This?
It was Josh and I. So we split it up.
So you and Josh worked together and worked out this whole presentation.
Absolutely.
Who was the main writer in this? Did you 50 or did one of you?
I tried to do most of the groundwork to make it easy. And, obviously we switched a lot of slides around with input, but I tried to get as much of the content there and then slowly started changing the format of the content so it's not distracting. And I think that's something that a lot of people get caught up with.
Visual presentation to accompany
a PowerPoint,
any audio?
No, we kept it simple, just Josh and I
video
speaking.
Presentation. And was it a like a point at the screen, kind of this is our presentation, or was it a face the crowd and do a demonstration?
I may have pointed a little bit up to it. I don't know. I tend to be pretty comfortable when I'm on stage.
Well, you have to show your product, right? I
mean, no. So we didn't do any type of live demo or videos.
So you just described it.
Especially with a room that big, it's not as important, and it really kills the flow of your presentation if you have to say, okay, and now we're going to do a demo, and you got to escape the presentation, you know, open up another window, or an alternative to that is some people embed a video into the presentation, which is like a 30-second demo of their product. There's just so much stuff that can go wrong, and it's while you're talking, then you stop talking, and they have to watch something, and then you start talking again. I mean, in my experience, it's a lot easier if you have the hook at the beginning and you can get their attention.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier just to keep your flow and just go all the way through it and
so who
finish
presented strong. You or Josh?
Both of us. So Josh did the first half of the presentation. I did the second half.
Okay. And then when you were done, you had you had a minute at the end there for just like questions, or
nope. We walked off stage. The next company came on, or I guess their mentor came on.
So
and
there's just a line of contestants or applicants.
So they give us like an order, and you start in the back of the room, and then you get to choose like your walk-on music or whatever. So I actually don't even remember his job. I actually probably I had a good song for it. Maybe we'll have to stay tuned for the next time we present at ArcView for that one. I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Well, I like the theatrics of that you get to pick your own music.
Well, it's a good way. I think it's really nice. It's a good way to lighten the mood right before, especially like. It's intimidating, going on stage in front of 400 people and asking them for money and showing them what you've poured your heart into for
giving
a
presentation where there's no real feedback. It's not like they're an audience that are there to see a performance where they're giving you feedback. Like there was
a little bit of that. Like they rated like best presentation, but
when they're sitting there watching you, it's kind of a passive, like blank face kind of.
Well, it's different. It's two different calls, really, right? Like, I guess we could have focused on winning that competition, but I think for us, we wanted to get the right message out and look for those right investors.
What was the message? What was the ask?
The ask, it was just the rest of our seed capital round. We'll put it that way.
Okay. Are we talking millions of dollars?
No, it was under $500,000.
Under $500,000. Okay. And what percentage was being offered in exchange?
Again.
Are we talking about significant where somebody would be a player in the game, or a minority where somebody would be unknown?
Relatively significant non-voting stake.
Oh, okay. So you weren't offering any power. You just offering some.
No, we wanted to build. We do want to build. I guess the building blocks of a more long-term, larger scale relationship.
Right.
And we want to make sure that the people that we take money from early on can provide other non-monetary related value.
Well, let me ask it like this, because here's what we're trying to discover is, and when I say we, it's me and the person sitting next to me, right, my alter. But
brainstorm.
Exactly. When you're asking somebody for money, but you're saying, you're not going to have any voting rights or whatever, are you asking them for enough money to make it worth their time? Or is it basically saying throw money at us but don't really expect much because it's such a small, insignificant dollar amount and percentage of ownership that there's nothing really that's going to come of this? So it's more like an angel investor where you're just helping us out.
So I guess that's just because of the numbers that we were talking. That was the one question we really had about, we kind of anticipated that type of feedback, which is why we really stressed towards the end of it, right before, I guess I stressed towards the end of it before we left the stage that we know it's not a large amount, and this is why it's not a large amount. We've operated a very lean business, and we can continue to do so, and we think that with just a little more traction, we can hit a point where we can really ramp up marketing and start generating a lot of revenue and really build a valuable company.
What was the incentive being offered? So you give us this much money, we give you this percentage of the company, and here's how you profit from this percentage. What was?
Well, it would be any time that earnings were distributed, they would end. It was in certain protections on it, like during our next round of financing up to a certain amount, they would be protected from dilution.
Yeah. And when do you get responses? Do people send you emails? Do they stop you you after the speech?
A
and
little
say,
bit
hey,
of everything. We had a lot of people stopping us after immediately.
Like in the hallway as you're drinking coffee and eating donuts. People walk
or
up to
outside
you and
having
say,
a smoke, or whatever it may be. I had people stop me basically before I could give the wireless mic back to the organizers, and then we had different conversations, both with people we had never met before, people who had maybe heard of us, people who hadn't heard of us but were impressed by our pitch, other people that we had been talking to.
Legitimate people or crazy people?
No, legitimate people. I mean, I think ArcView does a really good job of vetting the people that are allowed to come to those events. Everybody that I met there was definitely a valuable person. In terms of people that we're actually taking further steps with, that's a
what
more
is
isolated
the due
group.
diligence? Are they actually are they 400 accredited investors, or are they 400 loosely vetted out individuals who?
As far as I know, they're all accredited investors, and a lot of them are large scale investors like funds and other stuff like that, hedge funds, investment funds.
Is this one of the promises that ArcView puts in place to pull that draw in, or is this? I would think, like, if I were putting together a pitch, like a show, I would want to make sure that obviously everybody that was there had a level of, they were vetted to some point.
Well, I think that's the real value that they provide is that they're finding people who are genuinely interested in the cannabis space, making sure that they are accredited, and finding and vetting companies as well. We didn't get in the first time that we did a webinar with them. It took time. It took us.
That's the submission process?
Yep.
You have to submit a video?
It's a live webinar, yeah, and then it gets rated.
Take a webinar with them, and then that you pay for it, or it's free?
I believe, I think we paid for it. I honestly don't remember. It was actually a couple months ago.
Now, what's kind of percentage? What kind of actual activity does ArcView produce? What do they have any numbers to throw at you to say like 5% of people that
I don't know about
pitches get invested?
I don't know what number they do on percentages like that, but if you go on their website, on their homepage, they have some numbers that I can't quote them off the top of my head, but they tell you how many companies have been funded through ArcView. They tell you how many accredited investors they have. They tell you how much money has been funded through ArcView investors into startups. So.
Nice. So did you get any real offers?
We have some different conversations and offers that we've talked about and are in the process of closing, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. So what does that mean? Is it going to be a different business, different name, or just money injected into the business?
Yeah, it's just money for us to continue and expand our operations. We've talked a lot about having some type of market reports that are going to be available later this year.
Now, who makes that call? Because what's your title again?
Chief Operating Officer.
So how does the decision in making these types of acceptances of offers work? Do all of you guys have to come to an agreement on this? Is there one of you that actually has the power and gavel to say this is the direction we're going?
No, basically it comes down to a vote, and that's based off of the different stakes that we have in the company. And we have, obviously, according to our own internal practices and agreements.
Like an open vote or a secret ballot vote?
No, it's an open vote. We have a discussion before it, and everybody gets to make their case for one way or another. And then we obviously have some level that we've set internally on what the votes need to be for it to sway yes or for it to be rejected.
How do you handle conflict? Is it just simply, I have more shares and that's that? Or is there a procedure of...
we've been pretty good at this point to before something really gets to a vote, we have a thorough enough discussion that we're all on the same page, and the vote is a formality more or less, because we've hashed out the parts that are acceptable, what's not acceptable, what needs to be changed, or whether to move forward or not. And we have a pretty good review process for that.
Nice. Well, congratulations. That's big news, I guess.
Yep, thank you. So hopefully we'll be closing some more deals in the coming weeks, and hopefully be looking for a lot more capital later this year as well.
Wow. And then what? More states?
More states, more sales, more transactions, a better platform. It goes on.
And does this include all of the entities of the business, the skunk box, the consulting?
This is pretty much everything I've talked about is for CCX, the exchange.
CCX. But that more money there also means more money to a lot towards, more products through the skunk box and other things, or is just money that goes to
No,
CCX?
This is only CCX. It's a separate entity.
So we can expect then more technology applications and more money into
developing our platform.
Nice. Well, that's cool, man. That's cool. That's exciting stuff.
Thank you.
Exciting stuff. Does that mean new offices also?
Hopefully later this year at some point. Yeah, a more formal office, maybe downtown. We don't really know yet, but we're starting to put together those parts of the budget as well.
Nice. Well, things are going to move fast. We'll have to make sure to keep on top of it and keep doing updates at a more frequent basis.
Yeah, definitely.
Let people know where you're headed so they can follow you.
Yep, we always love having you down here at the office.
All right, man. I appreciate it. We'll do it again for another update next week.
Sweet. Until next time.
Is that your out? Until next time? Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.
Come on!